Well, that's right, Desiree, trying to poke holes in the testimony that he had previously gave inside this court. Indeed, the defense, having wrapped up its cross-examination, that re-examination by State Prosecutor Advocate Joyce Buthelezi is not expected to last more than an hour, at least by what he told the court just before we adjourned yesterday. And indeed, yesterday, Advocate Zandile Mshololo pointing to the post-mortem report of the deceased Senzo Meyiwa. You would recall that Madlala had previously told this court that Meyiwa may have been shot by someone who was behind him. But this report, the doctor's report, a post-mortem report, indicates that Senzo Meyiwa was shot in the front on this part of the chest, and that was at close range. Advocate Zandile Mshololo pointing to the fact that if that was indeed the case, as the post-mortem report indicates, that the bullet had gone in on the front of his chest and come out at the back, the person who may have been standing behind him then would have also been injured. So that contradiction coming across quite strongly inside this courtroom. You would know for the past few days, Desiree, there had been a lot of focus on the character of Madlala as a best friend of Senzo Meyiwa. Quite a number of things had been questioned over the past few days about why he didn't share proceeds of monies that he had made following his participation in the Netflix documentary, which was aired just days before this trial had begun, why he didn't bother to share it with the family, why he didn't bother to share it with Senzo Meyiwa's fiancée or wife at the time, or even the little baby that they had. The defense really trying to discredit him as someone who we also heard in this court before was accused of being jealous of the career of his best friend. But yesterday also, we heard from a statement of the brother-in-law of Senzo Meyiwa, who basically deposed of a statement, and in that statement says that he was told by Madlala that there'd been a fight inside the house between Kelly Khumalo, who is the sister to Kelly Khumalo, the then girlfriend of Senzo Meyiwa. There'd been a fight between Kelly Khumalo as well as her boyfriend, and Senzo Meyiwa had intervened. This is, of course, a version that Madlala does not agree with. He contends, as you would recall, that there were intruders that came inside the house, one yielding a gun, demanding cell phones and money. And also what we heard yesterday was, you would recall, prior to Madlala's evidence, we also heard about statements from other neighbors that had spoken about, one of the other neighbors cleaning the crime scene, removing beer bottles or cans from the scene. We heard yesterday from another neighbor of Zandi and Kelly Khumalo's mother in Vosloorus that he says he had heard loud sounds coming from the home of Kelly Khumalo's mother. And when he peeped through the window, he saw someone who was wearing a white T-shirt. Now, when Madlala was asked by Advocate Zandile Mshololo, does he recall what Senzo Meyiwa was wearing on that day, he said it was a white T-shirt, a pair of jeans, as well as white tackies. So that description fits the description that the neighbor in that statement says he had seen Senzo Meyiwa against the window in the kitchen. So the neighbor also saying he had heard loud sounds. He thought that there was a party, but then there was some commotion before a gunshot had gone off. So we're getting a sense from some of the witness statements also inside this court in terms of what they heard on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed at the home of Kelly Khumalo's mother. So today, we're expecting Advocate Joyce Buthelezi to wrap up that re-examination of Madlala, and very likely that would probably take Desiree and Naledi about an hour, or even less than that. And then he will be excused from the courtroom, and then we'll have to wait and see or hear if the next witness is likely to be called today, because we also heard from from Timothy Tobani yesterday, who was who is representing accused number 1 to 4, that he might ask for a possible adjournment. So we might hear from the next witness today or possibly on Monday.